Okay, this is in Colorado. It reads, 3 heavily decomposed and mummified bodies found at Colorado campsite. Published today, July 12th, 2023, truecrimedaily.com. This is from Gunnison County, Colorado, and it reads, investigators discovered 3 heavily decomposed bodies this week at a remote campsite in the Rocky Mountains and said the bodies had been there for a lengthy amount of time. According to KKTV-TV, on Sunday, July 9th, at approximately 5 p.m., a hiker contacted the Gunnison County Sheriff's Office after discovering human remains near the Gold Creek campground. The next morning, investigators went to the campsite and located 2 additional sets of decomposed remains. The sheriff's office wrote in a news release, it appeared the individuals had been deceased for a substantial period of time. They did not identify the victims because autopsy results are still pending. The sheriff's office said there was no risk to other hikers or outdoor enthusiasts in the area. I don't know about that, but Sheriff Adam Murdy told the Associated Press 1 body was found in a remote wooded area outside the campsite, while the other 2 were zipped up in a tent. Investigators reportedly discovered personal belongings and tarps at the scene, which was in an area hikers typically don't pass through very often. Murdy said the 3 bodies were fairly mummified and predicted the victims had been in the wilderness most likely since winter. He said, whether they froze to death in the winter or the combination of starved or froze, that's what it sure seems like. Murdy told the Associated Press his investigators are working on finding out what they were actually doing there and why. We're going into the actual website of kktv.com. Like I mentioned previously, this is just daily true crime occurrences that happen all across the country. This specific one, albeit not as hard-hitting as the one that we read previous to this one, but still nonetheless, I'm curious to know what that DNA is going to come back as. Like, who could these people be? What if they're on a missing persons list and they've been there for a while now, and this could finally bring families that have missing people in their lives some type of closure. I saw a really interesting TikTok video of someone explaining the aftermath of having a family member abducted. And I mean, in that case specifically, she never found her sister. Everything that comes after that, and because it's an open case, you have to talk about that situation a whole lot. And I saw the video a month ago, and in it she mentions that had happened like 10-15 years ago, but still to this day she was still answering questions because they're still trying to find her. And I don't know, that's why I mentioned that closure part before, because while the finding of obviously 3 heavily decomposed bodies is, awful in and of itself, because that means that something happened to those bodies that were previously people, I heard a great quote today. Maybe it goes hand in hand with this case that we're about to read, but sometimes a tragedy stops another tragedy from happening. I don't know. Maybe in this case, because of this finding, like I mentioned, they're able to give families some closure and whatnot. But nonetheless, sorry, I went down a small little rabbit hole there. But again, from Gunnison County, and it says an investigation is underway after remains belonging to 3 people were found near a Colorado campground. It reads, this is, it's the same thing that we read before. So it's this approximately 8:02 a.m. on Monday, July 10th, 2023. Investigators with the Gunnison County Sheriff's Office located the campsite. It's still the cause of the 3 individual deaths is still pending. Wow. Okay, so we already do that. Let's see if we can find any videos in regards to it. So it's only this first one here. That's from CBS Colorado. Guess that didn't open. Let's see, maybe this one will open. This is a Fox, KDVR.com. I'm guessing this is a subsidiary of Fox, but it's from Colorado. So shout out Denver. It's pretty short. It's only 30 seconds, so we'll just watch it really quickly. It's just there isn't any other information about it.
Right now, disturbing discovery at a Gunnison County campground under investigation right now. 3 decomposing bodies discovered by a hiker there. The sheriff's office says one body was found Sunday at a remote campsite near the Gold Creek campground. Investigators later found 2 other bodies they say were heavily decomposed and may have been there since late last year. Officials say 2 were found inside a tent, the 3rd found in a wooded area. The cause of the death has not been released, and because of the state of the bodies, an autopsy could take at least 3 weeks. But investigators say they do not expect foul play and believe there are no risks to those in the area.
Wow, that is insane. If 2 of them were found inside of a tent and 1 was found outside of one, that's a little bit sketchy there. Okay, this is the Associated Press article. Let's see. Again, 3 badly decomposing bodies found in a remote Colorado campsite. Published today. This is from the Associated Press. A hiker discovered one of the bodies late Sunday and notified the authorities, who found the other 2 after arriving at the campsite Monday, Gunnison County Sheriff Adam Murdy said. 2 of the bodies were inside a small zipped-up tent, and the other was outside in the camp, which was in a remote wooded area where hikers typically wouldn't pass by, he said. There were personal belongings and tarps at the scene, and a lean-to built from local logs over a fire pit. This is not a typical occurrence anywhere by any means, said Murdy, noting that his department doesn't think the discovery implies any risk to hikers or campers in the area. But while it says the sheriff's department is looking for missing persons reports that might shed light on the situation, they haven't found any yet, he said. The coroner won't release the identities of those deceased until the next of kin has been notified. But listen to this part. Based on the fairly mummified and advanced decomposition of the bodies, they were likely there through the winter and possibly since last fall, Murdy said. Because of the degradation, the autopsies will be difficult and will take at least 3 weeks, he said. Whether they froze to death in the winter or the combination of starved or froze, this is what I read before. That's what it sure seems like, said the sheriff, noting that the actual causes of death won't be known until the autopsies are completed. It says Murdy said it's more common for campers or hunters to die of carbon monoxide poisoning by using heaters in enclosed spaces, but that this appears to be different because of how the bodies were found and the remoteness of the camp. Sketch. What? I don't know, dude, but having 2 bodies inside of a tent and 1 right outside and all their personal belongings were there on a part of the trail that other hikers don't go on. I don't know. It'd be too easy to think that it was like them freezing. It was 3 people, you feel me? So I could kind of understand if it was 1, but if there was another hiker that was able to get to that point, that means that there could have been a way for them to get out. I don't know. This sounds extremely sketchy. Something's not right with this. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in chat, because I am not convinced of it not being foul play. Mind you, there's many ways of, based off of the true crime cases that we've seen here, actual physical violence isn't needed for you to kill someone off. Like I mentioned before, the lady that was poisoning her kids and her husband with antifreeze. They thought that the coffees and drinks that they were drinking were just sweeter, I guess. So they thought that it had like more sugary than what it was supposed to be, and she was poisoning them. So who knows? Wow, it's crazy. I put little stars on the webpage just so that way I won't forget that case, and I know that I would want to go back to it at some point because it's really interesting.